All right, guys, so here it is, your astrology series. We're starting over. We're going to do another water sign. So we've already done Pisces, Taurus. I think we did Libra and Aquarius, if I'm not mistaken. So we did do 2 air signs, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go back to water and we're going to do Scorpio. So we're going to talk about Scorpios. Now, what I want you guys to understand is that when I do these astrology series and I talk about the signs, I am trying to give you a different perspective on the signs that maybe a lot of people didn't know, right? Because I feel like there's always such typical things that people talk about when it comes to certain signs, but nobody really gives you like the really nitty gritty of like the good, the bad, the ugly. And that's why I'm here and that's where I come in. So that's what I try to do is I give you guys a different perspective because first of all, not only do I know a lot of Scorpios, but I've channeled for a lot of Scorpio energy as well. And what I do notice a lot about signs is that there's a lot of generic things that happen, but it also depends on what people have in their chart that makes them a little bit different, right? It's the beauty of why we're all different. So what I'm going to try to do is, again, give you a different perspective on Scorpios. Now, what I find is a lot of Scorpios have a lot of the same energy, whether they're male or female. And there's a couple different signs that I picked that up on. It's not all signs, because a lot of signs I noticed that the male version of that sign is very different from the female version, right? But Scorpios are one of those where I feel like they're very, very similar. Okay, so here we go. Scorpio, obviously the sign is scorpion, all right? They can sting. They can sting you and you will die. Okay, like if you ever feel the wrath of a Scorpio, I'm so sorry for you. Like if you feel the wrath. So what happens a lot with Scorpios is that Scorpios can be very, very dark thinkers, kind of like my Geminis, all right? They can think very dark. So if a Scorpio feels wronged by someone or they feel like there's an injustice with something somewhere, they will literally plan your funeral in their head. Okay, so you have to be really careful with Scorpios and be very careful with their heart. You have to be very careful with the way that you interact with them because, again, if they're unhealed, they can think very dark. They can really just hold on to a grudge really badly because they feel like they want to make sure and they want to know that you've gotten what was coming to you. Okay, so that's what I notice a lot about my Scorpio people. Again, if you deal with the Scorpio that is growing, they're evolving, and they take accountability for things and they know that about themselves and they want to change, then you can encounter a really amazing Scorpio because they will want to work on that. They want to become better, right? They want to be their highest self. And so then they don't want to really think like that or kind of go into that frame of mind of thinking. So you remember, this is really mostly for like unevolved signs, right? Because when the sign chooses to evolve, you see a lot of the amazing aspects of them, right? But right now I'm just kind of going through the kind of negative, that I noticed, right? So again, they can hold a grudge and they will make sure that you get your karma. It's like they feel that they want to control and make sure that you get what's coming to you. They could be very vengeful in that way, all right? One of the other things that I noticed with Scorpio as well, Scorpios are very in tune. They connect very easily to the underworld. So a lot of Scorpios, if you ever meet a Scorpio, they may have a message for you. Like maybe there might be a loved one that comes to them that they channel for you. Like they can connect very easily. And sometimes some of them don't even know it, right? So if you ever meet a Scorpio and you ever bring up to them, like, have you ever heard anything? Or like, have you ever seen anything from like the side of your eye? A lot of them are connected in the sense that they could physically see and hear things that they feel like they go crazy. So that's another thing that I also noticed with Scorpio is that this is probably why they feel so vengeful, is because they connect so closely and easily with the underworld, meaning like people who have passed over. All right. So if you ever meet a Scorpio, I highly suggest asking them like, you ever felt anything like weird or, so that's the one of the amazing things is that, and some of them don't even know it. Like some of them always second guess themselves and some of them always like brush it off as if they didn't see anything or didn't hear anything, but they did, so they connect very easily. Another thing about Scorpios is that they think very negatively sometimes about themselves. They could be very, very hard on themselves and think very negatively. not only about themselves, but about the world, right? So sometimes they can go and, like I said, create a whole crime, like in their mind, or they'll create a whole scenario, like in their mind. And it could be pretty dark in there. It could be pretty dark in there, okay? The Scorpions can be pretty dark when it comes to a lot of things. So they can have a tendency of getting a lot into negativity. They can project a lot of things, a lot of insecurities when they're unevolved. And like I said, what I notice a lot about when I've channeled for Scorpio energy is a lot of pain. I feel like a lot of Scorpions can go through like a lot of pain. If you've ever encountered like a male Scorpio, they can, as much as they're a water sign and they should be good with showing emotions, a lot of times they won't really truly be open with their emotions until you get to know them. And I feel like a lot of Scorpios have a hard time with finding that true love aspect that they could sway. So that's why you always hear about like the male Scorpions being like cheaters and, not sticking to like one particular person, having a hard time with commitment. That's why, because I feel like they have a tendency that it could be really hard for them to open up emotionally, especially if you're dealing with that male energy, because a lot of males have been taught what? You're not supposed to get emotional. That's a female's thing, right? So just be mindful if you ever meet a Scorpio male, because they, sometimes they have a hard time with opening up and having those emotions, all right? Now, Scorpios are very gentle. They're very nurturing as well, right? When you deal with a Scorpio who is evolved, they're very in tune. They're very in tune. They're very confident. They know what they're talking about. They are very knowledgeable with a lot of certain random things, kind of like Virgo energy, right? Like they have like random intelligence. So they know about random things, just random knowledge, like very random knowledge. And they're very in tune. When they're evolved and they're in control of their emotions, they could be very in tune where they can feel what you're feeling. They can tell you things about yourself that you didn't really know. So there's a lot of really good aspects to Scorpios as well. They're very nurturing, right? Because the water is very nurturing, and they can tend to flow very easily and go with the flow when they are choosing to heal, when they're choosing to really acknowledge things that they want to fix about themselves. All right. They make very good friends as well. Scorpios are very good friends. You can tell them anything. They're also very good about not judging, right? Like they're very good about not judging. It's almost kind of like they've been there, done that as well. Like there's really not something that you can tell a Scorpio that they probably won't be able to empathize with, which is really amazing. And again, that's the water in them, right? So they're really amazing when it comes to that. And let's see, what else about Scorpios that we kind of, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's going to be about it for like my Scorpions. They, again, when you deal with an evolved Scorpion and a person who takes accountability and acknowledges that there's things that they have to change within themselves, they will do it. It takes them a while. They got to kind of like, keep getting on the horse, but it's amazing, the lengths that they would go to really, truly heal and grow and become their highest self. But again, dealing with an unevolved Scorpio, there could be a lot of anger there that exists, a lot of not taking accountability, right? Like wanting the worst, for people or whatever, but it doesn't make them bad, like I said. And it also depends on what else they have in their chart. So you may deal with a water Scorpion that maybe has a lot of fire, so then they might be even a little bit more evil. Or you may deal with a Scorpion that has water, but then they have some earth in their chart, and so they're a little bit more grounded than a normal Scorpio. So it really depends on what else they have in their chart. All right. But if you're a Scorpio, let me know if I was hands-on, if this is a stage that you're in as a Scorpio, or if this is a stage that you were in, but you're no longer in and you're heading more to being evolved. Let me know in the comments. Let me know. But next week we'll do another earth sign. So maybe next week we'll do, oh, that's right, I had done Capricorn last time. So maybe next week we'll do like Virgo or something. We'll see. But stay tuned for next week. Love you guys. Bye.